Let's set the stage. It's the summer of 1993, and a 24-year-old Sam Cassell was just drafted in the first round to play for the title-contending Houston Rockets, and with the stat sheet stuffer, Hakeem Olajuwon. A man who just came off averaging absolutely monster stats in a brutal playoff series loss to a Supersonics team that needed overtime in Game 7 to defeat the Nigerian Nightmare. But then, the 93-94 preseason hits, and expectations are far from reality. The Rockets lose every single preseason game, with no exaggeration. And the dream looks washed, despite being in his prime. He barely scores, barely rebounds, barely even moves. Cassell had to have called his friends back home and told them that the dream just might not have it anymore. However, fortunately for the Rockets and Cassell, Olajuwon knew exactly what he was doing and wasn't feeling any kind of pressure. Because when it actually mattered, the dream had a confident message for the rookie that would set the tone for the championship run that we're about to embark on.
My rookie year, we won a championship.
Right, I remember.
Yeah. You watched him for so many years. Now you're his teammate. And I remember the first day of training camp. So I didn't see Dream all summer. Back in the 90s, guys used training camp to get in shape.
I didn't realize that the veterans, because back in the day, training camp was the whole month. Training camp take 8 days now.
So you had a whole time to get in shape. So I'd never seen Hakeem Olajuwon the whole summer. So when training camp, the first day of training camp, he was out of shape. And when preseason came, man, I was like, wow, man, he ain't that good. You know what I'm saying? He ain't that good. Not knowing that the veterans use training camp to get in shape, get their body going, and get their mind together. So our first couple of preseason games, we was terrible.
We 0-8 in preseason. We getting smacked.
Getting blown out by 20 points every preseason game. Blown out.
We getting smacked. I know y'all went through this too. We getting smacked.
Our average loss was about 16, 17 points.
Jesus Christ.
And
I'm sitting on the bench like, man, this ain't the Hakeem Olajuwon I saw play.
Man, he had like 5 points, like 5 rebounds. And I'm like, this team won 54 games last year. I know we ain't this bad. Now, I understand it's preseason basketball, but I really don't understand it's preseason basketball because in college, we had an exhibition game. You go hard. If you didn't go hard, the head coach had something for you later on.
Absolutely.
You know?
And one day I asked him, I said, man, after we lost, we played the Oklahoma City, we played the Cavaliers, they smacked us. And I said, Dream, man. I said, Dream, can I ask you a question? He was like, sure, Sam. What's up? I said, man, like, you only have like 11 points right now. And he told me the coldest thing. Now, I'm a rookie.
I was like, what's going on? And it was so simple. It wasn't even a thought process to him. He said, Sam, they don't send these stat sheets to New York.
I was like, what the fuck? Like, in my mind, like, fuck that shit got good in New York for. Me not knowing the league office is in New York. You know what I'm saying? So basically, he was saying, this shit don't count.
Right.
This shit don't count.
Yeah, so I asked Kenny Smith that. I said, that's a gift. What are you talking about, man? He said, Sam, the popcorn ain't popping yet. That shit's not real yet.
Fast forward 2 weeks later, opening night, we playing the Golden State Warriors in Houston.
Man, when them lights came on, opening night, I could not believe what I was witnessing.
Man, that man was doing some shit on that basketball.
I'd never forget this. Man, this man had like 38, 14 rebounds,
13 rebounds,
6 blocks,
7 blocks,
7 assists,
6-7 assists,
3 steals. He was in every category, man, that he was leading every category. Blocks, steals, everything.
Man, that man was doing that turnaround. He was shaking and hitting that turnaround, fadeaway, jumping that shot, landing in the crowd. We holding him up. We catching him in the crowd and shit on the bench, throwing him back up. So after the game, I asked him after the game, I said, Dream, where was that in preseason? And he took a small piece out. He said, the popcorn wasn't popping.
Yes.
It doesn't count. This counts. The popcorn's selling. It's ready. It's time to go.
I said, oh, okay. Because I seen everybody else on our team, game went from on the floor to the ceiling.
Right.
We was 0-8 in preseason.
And ironically, we went 18-0. Now we went 21-0 to start the season off. 0-8 in preseason, went 21-0 to start the season. It's crazy.
So that right there for you as a rookie, you see that fuck your mind up.
Oh, I'm done. I'm just like, this the baddest dude in the game of basketball. Because you understand, Michael Jordan has retired now.
Yep.
He's gone.
Yep.
I said, this is the baddest dude in basketball. Offensively, and defensive.
Mm-hmm.
One day I was guarding someone, I think John Stockton. He beat me off the dribble, and I reached in and fouled, and he lost his mind. Son, what are you doing? Don't foul him. Look up there. And I look up in the stands, up in the ceiling. It was the all-time shot block leader. I'll block it. Don't foul him. Trust me, I'll be there. It was a pleasure just to be his teammate because I know that if I got beat off the dribble, he's coming.
Mm-hmm.
He may not block it, but he's going to make you miss.
Absolutely.
80% of the time.
Absolutely.
In the early 1980s, Houston, Texas quietly became an incredible hotbed for some of the best basketball talent in the world at that time. On any given summer weekend, you might see guys like Moses Malone, who was winning MVPs for the Rockets in the early 80s and carrying the city to their first NBA Finals appearance in 1981. Or maybe the guys from Phi Slamma Jamma, which was the nickname of the University of Houston Cougars during their run to 3 consecutive Final Four appearances from 1982 to 1984. All of these greats and more looking for pickup games with local high school talent looking to get better. One of those Houston high school kids was a young power forward by the name of Mark Callaway. Now, if that doesn't sound like any NBA player you've heard of, that'd be accurate, because he became famous under an entirely different alias. WWE legend, The Undertaker. One summer, a young Undertaker found himself on the same team as the Dream himself. And what happened next is the cross-sport Hall of Fame connection you never knew you wanted to see.
Played basketball. I got an opportunity to play. So I grew up in Houston, right? Mm-hmm. So I got a chance to play with all the guys on Phi Slamma Jamma in the summer leagues, right?
Oh my goodness!
And then awesome. I got to play at Fondy Rec, which Fondy Rec in Houston in the summer, you never knew who would be in there, whether it be Moses Malone or Barkley or all these guys, right? And then I had a high school coach who went to the University of Houston, and then I'd get to go up to Hofheinz Pavilion and play with the current Cougars at the time, the University of Houston guys. I was there when Olajuwon was there.
Wow.
And I was convinced that everybody from Nigeria
was tall.
Like, everybody. How are all these people coming from Nigeria that are all 6'11" and 7 foot and incredible footwork? So a funny story. So I'm in high school still. I'm playing with all these guys. There's Clyde Drexler's there, Larry Michal, Rob Williams. All these guys are playing, and so I get on the team finally. I get a run. I'm playing the 2. I have no business at the 2, right? So we're coming down the court, and you can help me with this because I'm probably going to say it wrong. But so I'm on Hakeem's team, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm bringing the ball up the left side, and he's running. And like, dude, he was incredible. His footwork and everything was just next level.
Absolutely.
He's running on the other side, and so he's wanting me to throw him an alley-oop, but he was saying it in Nigerian, I guess, or whatever. I don't know what it was saying, but it wasn't. He was pointing, and I'm like, I just crossed mid-court, and he's already on the end, and he's pointing for an alley-oop. And I'm like, oh crap! But I let it loose, man, and I threw it. The ball, I was like, oh damn! And I threw it. The ball was way above the box, and I'm thinking, crap! I just threw that away. And no, he caught the ball on the run above the box, dunked on this dude, man, and comes back. We're running back up the court, yeah, and he gives me a little nice pass, man. And I'm like,
hold on. You had an assist
yes.
with Hakeem?
Yeah, in a pickup game. Yeah.
I don't care if it's in a pickup game or not.
Yeah,
I'm sitting there thinking, you've got this 30-year Hall of Fame wrestling career, and just now you've got me. Holy crap.
Dude.
I never knew this.
I played, then I ended up going to the University of St. Thomas, and we ended up hosting the Coors Light Summer Pro League. So I got to play with Moses. I got to play with Barkley.
Wow. Wait, hold on. Did these guys know that?
I don't even know if they know who I am.
I know who you are.
But
do
not
they
who I was.
remember that you were there for that?
You should, maybe you should definitely let them know.
Because I don't think they have no clue. Because I was just a skinny redheaded kid that I look a lot different now, but
I'm sure that
The internet needs to make this happen.
I don't know,
Yes.
because I've done signings. I've done signings with, or been in the room with Clyde and Hakeem, and I never
But
crossed
you're
my.
never the guy that will go up and go, "Hey, do you remember
No,
when I
you're
did
not.
this?"
You're
You're
not.
not that guy.
Nah.
Hoffine's Pavilion, man. Anyway, so I threw this errant pass that Hakeem made me look like I was Magic Johnson, man. He was just like, you got to
No,
look
I
back.
tell you the story every week.
Yes.
I play with Hakeem.
Well, it didn't help me much. I ended up with a 30-some-odd-year career in wrestling, but it worked out the way it worked out the way it was supposed to. But
Oh my God!
you never know. No, it was crazy, man. It was how at Fonde Rec, if you got in a game and you lost, there's a good chance you're not getting another run the rest of the day. That's how competitive that was.
Basketball legends aren't just stars from the past. They're living inspirations, teachers of the game who pass their secrets to new generations. And there's no all-time great that has become a better teacher than Houston's own Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. We've all seen Alpoon Sangun ball out for the Rockets in the last few seasons. He plays with his back to the basket, much like the great centers of the past. But imagine a young Sangun's surprise when he meets a nearly 60-year-old Hakeem the Dream. And let's just say, Sangun was shocked at what he saw from a man who has been retired for over 20 years. One legendary spin move lesson later, and Sangun realized that age hasn't slowed the Dream one bit. This wasn't just any lesson. It was a masterclass in footwork and speed that Sangun used to make himself even more lethal offensively.
I've worked with him once. I wanted to work with him many more times, but he's a man. We had just one time chance to work with him. He's 59 or something, 60, something like that. But it was my first year. And then when we worked together, I was so surprised how he's moving like that still.
Still looks good.
Still, that spin move he does still is faster than me. 1 hour, 1.5 hour practice together, and then he teach me a lot, all that things. I can tell after that time, I was doing spin move a lot, but not with the, I was doing in post up, but he showed me play face to face and then do spin move. I wasn't doing that much, but I can tell he helped me with that. And then I started doing that spin move and hook shot.
So the real question, though, that I just have to know, there's a little rumor circulating about Hakeem. He actually charges $50,000 for a workout.
I heard that.
So
this summer with Giannis.
Are you sure? Is it because he's busy, or is it because it's just
Hey, you need some of this
it's
stuff
working?
I don't
mean,
know
hey,
that though. I don't know. I just heard, but I don't know if it's true or not.
Is that for
I'm
NBA
asking
players?
you.
Maybe it's true.
So you didn't pay the 50.
No way.
I don't blame him though. These cats is getting that money.
If you did pay, he might be able to charge more now because you're less spin move.
Right.
We have
$1,000.
We have. If you are a Houston Rockets player, he's not charging that much.
So y'all get a little discount being
discount, some discount.
Because he don't got to travel. I get it.
I wouldn't even pay the discount.
25.
I'm not paying that. But good thing you got yours for free.
Yes,
And
I
then
got
take it to
first
heart
time
with
it's
you.
free.
But when you got Bron, you got Kobe,
I'd be charging.
it might just be a rumor just because, Hakeem, I dropped this little 50 for you. It probably was just like,
I don't believe.
I don't believe LeBron.
50 though, bro.
No.
I'm saying though, Cole, think about it.
He
Cole
didn't
probably
talk
just
about
threw
all
50 to
that.
Hakeem. Hakeem, he probably didn't ask Cole for nothing. Here you go.
Nah, he sent him an invoice.
You think he sent the man?
But Sangun isn't the only young star looking to learn from Olajuwon. Recently, at the NCAA Final Four 2025 in San Antonio, Victor Wembanyama was seen with the Hall of Famer. Hakeem said that Wemby didn't need the training, but the young freshman did not take no for an answer. In a surprising twist, even Gilbert Arenas, someone who's previously questioned the value of Hakeem's expensive lessons, has reconsidered when thinking about Wemby. When asked about Victor Wembanyama reaching out to train with Olajuwon, Arenas didn't just approve, he insisted Victor should absolutely make the trip. But what changed Arenas' mind? That's for him to tell you.
Should Wemby work out with Hakeem in the offseason?
Yes.
You believe that Victor Wembanyama should work out with Hakeem Olajuwon?
Because Wemby actually has footwork, right? He already has the footwork to
work out with Hakeem, right? Here, this is the real problem. Hakeem learned his footwork from soccer. What comes to him naturally, he gained it when he was a little kid, right? So when he's teaching these really high athletes, he don't remember the basics. So if you're Hakeem, what you want to do is, for all these high jumping motherfuckers who don't have footwork, teach them the footwork first before you're trying to give him these moves. Wemby has the footwork. So everything you're teaching him, he will understand how to not make it a travel and actually learn how to do it in the game, right? So that's the thing. It's like Melo doing it, fine. Kobe doing it, fine. You're trying to teach LeBron James, Amari Stoudemire, all these really high jumping dudes who don't have the basic footwork and they just use athleticism. It will hurt them in this workout because they're not going to know the understanding of, I got to drop the ball first before I take this step. So I'm doing the same thing you're doing, but I'm doing 2 steps, I'm doing a hop step, right? So it's usually the fundamentals, and he's not teaching the fundamentals to these pros that need the fundamentals first. So I wouldn't have him work out with the Giannis, but I have him work out with him. He can work out with him, Lucas, Shea, Jokic, those guys that work well with his footwork already.
Few NBA players are as charismatic and polarizing as Mad Max Vernon Maxwell, one of the game's all-time trash talkers and storytellers. A 2-time champion with Hakeem, Max was fearless and intense on and off the court, but nothing prepared him for his early days playing alongside the Dream. Sure, Hakeem is now remembered as one of the most graceful yet unstoppable forces of all time. But according to Maxwell, in the 80s, the Dream was more like a nightmare and had a mean streak you wouldn't believe. How mean? Let's just say Vernon Maxwell learned firsthand. Literally.
And you also played with one of the best centers of all time. Tell us a little bit about how it was to play for, if y'all don't know, his name is, we call him The Dream. Hakeem Olajuwon. Tell us a little bit about The Dream.
When I first got there, it was difficult because Dream he's just wanting the ball all the damn time. And it was just about Dream. But then when he became Muslim and he transformed and did the Muslim thing, and it was great, man. It was, I just knew when I saw him and looked different, attitude was different, willingness to share the ball with everybody. And at first it was just about Dream, getting his numbers and shit. And when he became Muslim, I knew. And then over that summer, we knew because he was willing to pass it and give it up. Dreams get double teamed night in, night out. Motherfucker every night. But a lot of nights at first when I got there, he wasn't passing that motherfucker. And shit. So he was just taking some bad shots, but shit, then learn how to share the wealth with his teammates. And that's when we just took off, man. And that year, we knew we was going to be good shit. We started out the year 22-1, 23-1, some shit like that.
Crazy year.
So we knew we was Rudy T. We kept us pretty much, the core of us pretty much together. Me, Dream, Otis Thorpe. Then he brought in Kenny and Mario and Sam and Robert Ory.
What year was that, 94?
Yes, but we were all together for about 2-3 years, so we kind of knew what we was doing, and we knew the system. We go into training camp shit. You ain't got to tell us, Rudy, what the fuck we doing. We already know what the fuck we doing. We done been through this shit.
You done been together.
So we already know. You can sit down and we know how to do this shit on our own. But we knew we were gonna be special that year, so it was a special year for us. But Dream, night in, night out, man. Just the feet work, man. It's crazy. Yeah. See, everybody don't understand in basketball, they think that the game is played up here with your hands and upper body. It's played down here. You gotta have good feet work to play the game of basketball. That's what Dream just had. He had great feet work and this damn tenacity, and nobody couldn't stop him at this one point in period. He went on a tear for 5 years, man. Shit, and nobody, he was MVP, nobody couldn't stop him, winning championships. That's when he was at his best. But Dream, man, I can't say enough about it, man. I used to take that shit for granted. But now I think about the shit, what he used to do, man, I'd be like, God damn, man, you gotta give this motherfucker. He's
gotta give him his flowers. Max, where would you put him, Max? Let me kind of rephrase that. Because I'm going back and I remember how he destroyed David Robinson's ass after he got MVP. I think Dream was like, okay, you the MVP, I'm gonna show you the real MVP.
Right.
So when you talk about some of the greatest centers, I'm not gonna just say players, just some of the greatest centers, where do you put Dream? Top 5?
Absolutely, that's where I'm finna put him, man. He's top 5B. Absolutely. Top 5. Easily to me.
Look, that dude was unbelievable.
Man, unbelievable, man. That shit he used to do, falling out of bounds, shooting that bitch behind the backboard. I was standing right there. He was literally behind the backboard and shoot the shit over the corner of the backboard. And I was like, what the fuck?
There's stories out there that he slapped people and stuff. What was that like? Did he get you?
Shit, I was a client. Shit, I got goddamn slapped and shit. So I know. So Dream voice, that damn pre-Muslim was a little wild, put his hands,
little rough around the edges.
Little rough around the edges, put his goddamn hands on you. But when it was post, he chilled. He was just chill, and he was a great teammate. Like I said, man, Dream was but Dream put his goddamn hands on you now. We seen it. He didn't just do me. He slapped the shit out of a bunch of motherfuckers all over the NBA shit. He was slapping everybody.
Teammates and opponents.
You do anything, that motherfucker just come out of nowhere. Pow! You're like, God damn, Dream, where'd that come from? So,
back in 1995, Shaquille O'Neal and the Orlando Magic seemed destined to rule the NBA for years, especially after knocking Michael Jordan and the Bulls out of the playoffs, the only team to do so during MJ's prime in the 90s. Coming off that huge victory, the young Magic squad, already the top seed in the East, assumed the finals matchup against the 6-seeded Houston Rockets was a foregone conclusion. But waiting for Shaq was an Hakeem Olajuwon determined to prove he could carry his Rockets to back-to-back championships despite not having another all-star teammate. Shaq's first finals didn't go his way, and the Diesel admits it was one of the most important lessons of his career. Here's Shaq with the Kelsey brothers on their podcast, explaining how facing Hakeem taught him the danger of celebrating too soon.
Guy that taught me the most valuable lesson is Hakeem Olajuwon, because the year we made it to the finals, we beat Michael Jordan, the greatest player ever. Yes. So I already thought the job was done. And then we had 10 days off. And living in Orlando, you go in the restaurants, it's standing ovations, and you're getting extra deals, and it's the parades. And me and one of my other teammates were jumping on private planes. We're going to Miami and party. And because I like to get ready 3 days before, but you got 10 days off. I couldn't be like this for 10 days. So I'm like, you know what? Let me take a couple of days off. We're definitely going to win. I'm playing against Hakeem. We won one. He's the same size. We're definitely going to win. But he taught me never to celebrate too early. So when we played in the finals, I didn't see that Hakeem, and they had just won the year before, so they were going for a back-to-back, and he just fucking taught me a lesson. So I always said to myself, if I get back to the finals again, I'm going to dominate so fucking much that it won't be a question of who's going to win. So he got his way in that finals. Me and Dave Robinson, probably even. Me and Tim Duncan, probably even. Me and Patrick Ewing, even. Me and Alonzo, even. We always try to cancel each other out. I couldn't stop them, they couldn't stop me. But the guys like Charles Oakley and fucking Karl Malone, the little guys that can get into your
leverage underneath you.
Get leverage. Those are the ones that gave me problems.
Every basketball fan in the world has played this classic game at least once. Start, bench, cut. This iteration of the game was between Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal, and Nikola Jokic. 3 of the greatest big men ever to touch a basketball. Each one totally different, but all absolutely dominant in their own way. In 2 completely separate interviews, 2 rivals from the 80s, Celtics 1981 Finals MVP Cedric Maxwell and Lakers 1987 DPOY Michael Cooper, were both asked this exact same question. And amazingly, they gave the exact same answer, totally unprompted and impossible to script, as to whom would be their starter. Both of these guys played in an era filled with tough centers. They went up against giants, and playing for the Celtics and Lakers, they usually got their opponent's best shot every night, so their opinions carry weight when it comes to quality basketball. Here are the 2 former NBA champions back-to-back, diving into why there was only one choice to start in their eyes.
Hakeem, Jokic, or Shaq? I'm going to start Hakeem because Hakeem was probably one of the most polished centers in the game that's ever played.
So is Jokic.
Had all the moves in the middle, could run like a gazelle, could block shots like Bill Russell without knocking them out of bounds, and could hit his free throws. Good free throws, okay?
I'm starting Hakeem Olajuwon because he's dominated the game on the defensive end better than anybody. Because Olajuwon dominated the game in such a way that he dominated more of the game on the defensive end and the offensive end than any player in the history of the game. And he did it against great players. Here's a point that you can't argue this point. As great as Jokic is as an offensive player, defensively, you don't think of him that way, dominating from a defensive standpoint. So that's why I said Olajuwon fundamentally dominates the game more than any of those two. Shaq was a great offensive player, but defensively, he blocked some shots, but you get him in pick and roll, he wasn't going to make steals or nothing like that. So that's why I think that's why I made my opinion of those guys.
Yeah. The highlights of the 1995 NBA Western Conference Finals matchup between Hall of Fame centers David Robinson and Hakeem Olajuwon are the clips that get passed down from one generation to the next, mostly because of the backstory that went along with it. Robinson had just spoiled Olajuwon's chances of becoming a back-to-back MVP, receiving the award officially before Game 1 of this series, right in front of the Dream. At the time, the Admiral was locked in, ready to add a championship to his already loaded resume. But standing in his way was an angry Hakeem Olajuwon, feeling overlooked and disrespected by MVP voters. What unfolded was Olajuwon's defining moment as a basketball player. Robinson faced the Dream head-on, determined to prove that he was worthy of his MVP honors. But sometimes, greatness runs into something even greater. Here's David Robinson himself, breaking down exactly what happened when he collided with the Dream.
And this was a great era in the NBA for big men.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a
and
good
you're
time.
one of them. This is you against Hakeem Olajuwon.
Didn't get much better than that stuff. And we played those guys 20 times a year. They were in our division, so we played them all the time. And just great battles. All three of the Texas teams at that time were pretty good.
So how challenged were you in that conference final against Olajuwon?
Yeah, I was pretty challenged. Olajuwon was playing really, really well at that time. And
here's Game 6.
Oh, man. Got to watch it again. Thank you for that. I
I'm
appreciate
sorry.
that.
Come on.
Oh, my gosh.
You've gone from celebrated #1 pick, rookie of the year, a Navy man, a businessman, or an office guy to an MVP. And it's all there except for this championship. And you were so close that year losing to Houston.
When you're wrapped up in this is the thing that you really want to accomplish and you've put all of your energy and effort towards it and then you fail so publicly. And so it's a pretty low point. And when you get embarrassed, there's nothing you can say. He was playing amazing basketball. And I played okay, but okay is not good in the playoffs. In the playoffs, you actually have to step it up and be better. And he did that against us, and they ended up beating us in 6 games. I think that was the worst moment of my pro career. After Game 6 in Houston, going back into that locker room and hearing the announcement, tickets to the NBA Finals will go on sale on Friday. And I was like, oh, man, this is horrible. And then they went on and beat Orlando in the finals.
Did you do anything differently that offseason? Did that spur you to, so to speak?
Yeah, well, the workouts had a little extra meaning. Every off-season workout, it's hard to get yourself motivated for an off-season workout. But after something like that, you're good for about a month of really good, hard workouts.
Right.
Because it's just right there at the top of your head. You wake up thinking about that game. So that was extremely motivating.